Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. My name is Joseph Sangle, one of the co-hosts, and I'm fired up to welcome you to episode number
102.
That is the voice of my co-host, Megan Hibbard. We hope that you're all doing well on this fine Monday. How are you doing, Megan?
Doing good. Middle of June.
It's the middle of June. It's the middle of June, the exact middle, because it's 30-day month.
I know.
It's June 15th.
It's flying by.
Man, I cannot wait because it's this great season of travel for a lot of people. And many people have been quarantined and staying at home. And now some of them are starting to take some summer vacations and staying safe. We're hoping everybody's doing all the things to make sure your family is still safe. But it is the middle of summer, and the lakes are open, and the pool is open, and the great outdoors is open. And
yes.
I love, as I know, many people have been social distancing for years. You know, that's their natural thing, is to disappear out into the woods, out to the lake. And today, we're going to talk about a very unique topic. What is that?
So today we're talking about how to prevent your employer from controlling your life.
So stop. So how to prevent your employer from controlling your life. So this is really important. Like, some of you may be like, I don't know my employer is controlling my life. Other, you're like, you know exactly what we're talking about. But for those who are like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Share what the question is that we're going to address today.
Yes. So with all the craziness going on with the economy, it's felt like everyone is walking on pins and needles, wondering what our company is going to decide to do next. So many people have been laid off. More layoffs are in the rumor mill. And I feel like it's hard to dream right now because of potential layoffs that could affect me. Do you have any steps I could take right now to best position myself? Also, any words of encouragement would be awesome too.
Yes. And so it is unique. You know, the government put a bunch of cash into the system, kept people employed for a while. And, you know, now all that stuff's going to be drying up. The unemployment's going to be drying up for people. And we're going to find out what type of real economy we have. And we pray that it's good. But, you know, it can be an unnerving time for the employer and for the employees. And so we're going to be talking about that today. Should be very helpful. And I think that you'll find it also encouraging.
Yeah.
We always like to encourage.
We do. It's part of who we are. Okay, so our featured resource for this month is our ebook bundle. So when people filled out their senior book, no one ever wrote down, I see myself struggling financially. However, statistics still show that 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and now that percentage is higher than ever with unemployment rates. It's our passion to help you understand what God's Word says about biblical stewardship and provide practical steps to change your life. So this month, we're offering our ebook bundle for only $15. And with that, you get 11 of our ebooks, and they're instantly delivered to your inbox, and that's over 52% off. So it's a great deal. So just go to iwasbrokenowimnot.com/help to grab this offer today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you should check out these ebooks. I think you'll find them very helpful. They really are. We're really proud of what they are, and I think they'll help you. And they're on a variety of topics that will really help you no matter what stage you are in your money journey, and also be able to help your friends and family. Now we know what great time it is. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is sponsored by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. Take your finance to the next level by utilizing our financial tools and calculators. Visit iwasbrokenowimnot.com and click on Tools. Budgeting templates, debt freedom date calculators, retirement calculators, investment calculators, they're all right there at your fingertips, and they're all free.
Yes. And so in this current money events section, current money events.
It's a little remix.
Yeah, I got a little remix going on. I'm going to talk about the travel industry. As we said, we're going to continue to talk about the coronavirus and COVID-19 pandemic impacts on different areas of the economy, on your life. Today, I'm going to talk about travel industry since people are traveling.
Yes.
And one of the things that I wanted to speak to is, you know, something that I said early and often as we headed into this mess, is that every single person who is a productive citizen, which is almost all of them, is going to bear the weight of this financially at some level. Everybody has the loss in their life.
Right.
The loss of their seniors' regular high school graduation or college graduation. It got taken away from them. That early trip that they were going to take. Other people had they were getting ready to build something and it died. Other people have had they've had, a spring break trip that got taken away totally. So that everybody's just shouldering the burden. And the issue is that people spent money on a lot of this and they're not going to get the money back. Like they bought a cap and gown, but they didn't get to walk.
Yeah.
They booked an airline ticket and they got it canceled. And now the airline wants to give them a credit instead of giving their money back. Right. And the reason being is the airlines are out of money.
Yeah.
And so what I really wanted to speak to is this travel industry thing because, the travel is important around the world. Going from here to there to visit family for rest, for business, that the travel industry is a big, big deal. And it's a huge part of our economy is getting from point A to point B safely. And in a lot of cases with some entertainment and fun that is all supported by it. So it rolls to every part of the economy. And I personally, my daughter was going to go do some distance learning in Italy this summer and in Germany. And so both of those classes got canceled. And they were, praise the Lord, they were getting ready to book travel and they didn't do it. And so we had the money though. We had paid for these 2 classes and they were not cheap because they had travel and everything.
Yeah.
We'd used 529 money for it. And I was really looking forward for it. My daughter, even though she'd be over in Europe, but she's 20,
Sound
very
awesome.
exciting.
Yeah.
And I had my wife scheduled to go meet her at the end of the Germany trip. They were going to be in Zurich. And so my wife was going to fly there, and then they were going to go to Amsterdam,
Oh, wow.
spend a couple days, and then go to Brussels, and then fly down to Rome, where she would meet up with her Italian class. And I spent the money because I'm a planner. I had booked miles for my wife to fly to Zurich, and I had used points for a hotel there and points in Amsterdam with Marriott hotels since I travel so much and have those. And then I had booked a flight, a full fee on American Airlines direct back home from Rome.
True.
$1,000, $985.05.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, it's canceled. We're not doing this. None of that. All that money's hanging out there. And so I just wanted to just tell everybody, if you've got money hanging out there, I think you should make a request for it.
Yeah.
You want to make sure the request is known. Because I will tell you, I immediately from the school, the university that my daughter attends, Anderson University in South Carolina, it's a great college. David on our team graduated from there. Caroline on our team graduated twice from there. My daughter's attending there now. A lot of our friends went there.
Yep.
And they immediately refunded the money for both classes. No questions asked. I'd never even had to request it. It just showed up in the mailbox within a week.
That's awesome.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I was so impressed. Now, American Airlines, I went online and followed their process. It said for points, I would have to call to get my miles back. So I called. He got the miles back. I said, now, can you take care of this refund request? And he's like, they're telling us to do that online because they may offer you a bigger credit.
Oh.
I was like, oh.
Well,
So I went on
like
there
a bigger credit.
and they actually just refunded my money.
Wow.
And so it hit the account. So I had a spring break trip. We were going to go with David and his family. David Nimmons on our team. My family and his were going to go down to Florida to go get some warm air before it gets here to South Carolina. And it got canceled.
Yeah.
The beaches were even closed. And so we booked it through Airbnb, I think it was, or VRBO. I don't know which one it is. But they just allowed us to rebook it. They would not refund the money. They refused to refund the money, but they did let us book for the next year at no additional cost. So I've got a deferred credit. But here's what I just want to tell everybody. You should, if you've got money hanging out there with that you paid for, whether it was a hotel or it was airline fee, or if it was even just distance learning class, or it was a conference fee you paid for, I encourage you, make the ask. It's amazing how many people are making good on this, or at least giving you a credit forward to the future. And so I just encourage you to do that because I can tell you, it helped me get over my sad feelings.
Yeah.
The fact that the money showed back up, I was like elated.
Yeah.
And I remember throwing this fit as I realized that this $985.05, because it's not cheap to fly back and forth from Europe, was refunded. And I was like, yes! And my son, who's 10, who's learning about the value of money, really, he's like, what are you going to do with that? Like, what's, and
a lot.
Jen said, we're going to buy groceries for you because you're eating us out of house and home. And so I think it's really neat for him to be able to see this correlation of that dollars have real value, and that is how commerce works. It's give and take, and trading for essential services, different things like that. So I do encourage all of you, as part of this current money events section, current money events, that you go get your money back. At least request it and see what happens. And I do encourage you with one great bonus. Be nice when you make the request. They're human too.
Yeah. And I do feel like this is going to define your thoughts on other on companies going forward. So you're way more likely to use those companies in the future that they worked with you and they were so helpful. And
American Airlines gets a shout out. Marriott gave me all my points back.
Right. Yeah.
Just instantly. Anderson University.
Yeah.
Shout outs, right?
Yeah. And not saying that you wouldn't use a company if they don't have the ability to give you the money back, because some companies just straight up can't. They just don't have the ability. But you'll think more highly of the companies and be more likely to use them in the future.
Absolutely.
So it's a win-win for them.
I feel like it was a good CME, current money events.
Yeah.
section.
We were supposed to go to Puerto Rico in May and we had to postpone. So
did they give you your money back?
Well, we're transferring ideally to December. Fingers crossed. Who knows? Hopefully round 2 doesn't come. So we are holding our breath for that. So our success story today comes from Char, and Char shared with us that she started off this year with a 90-day challenge to double up paying on bills, and save more money and stop reckless spending. So for 90 days, she wanted to focus on those things. So she met her goal before the 90 days was up, and she started her budget in April with the goal to purchase a new home next year.
Wow. That's awesome.
This year. New home this year.
Yeah. So I love this because the success story is she chose a bite-sized amount of time for her, 90 days, 3 months, and a savings challenge so that she could double up on paying on her bills, put some money in the bank, and really curb reckless spending.
Yeah.
So it was trying to modify her own spending behavior that she had identified in her life that she did not like and felt like that is preventing her from her dream.
Yeah.
And now she's done it. She started her budget in April, and now she's on her way to getting her dream of purchasing a home this year. That fires me up.
Yeah.
And so we always say, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Take your step today. It's Monday. I mean, it is a new week.
Yeah.
Take hold of it. The next 5 days, do something positive in your financial journey. Trust me, no one sits in our office. No one emails us. No one calls us, writes on our social media walls. No one says, I'm so glad I took no financial steps this week. And that no one ever says, I took a financial step, I regret it.
Yeah.
Take a step.
Yeah.
You'll be so glad you did.
And the thing that I get from this is discipline. So it takes discipline in those 90 days for her to say no to other things and say yes to this. And so you're basically changing your behavior. So
don't get me started now.
Yeah. So spending the 90 days working on changing that behavior so that when the 90 days is up, you don't go back to the same behavior, but you have a new behavior that you're focusing on.
This might end up being a 35-minute episode if you get me fired up on it. But here's the thing. I'm going to say it. Forgive me, podcast listeners, if this is a minute long because of this. But here's the deal. Something I've learned in my life is when you wrestle it to the ground and you form this new habit that you've trained yourself, that new habit, that new discipline, that if you do that long enough, it won't even feel like discipline anymore. It's just the way you do things. You don't even understand in your mind what others would look at your life and say, man, how are you so disciplined? And you're like, I didn't even know I was.
Right. And
that's exactly where Char's headed. Way to go.
Yep. Okay. So to remind you guys of our question today is, with all the craziness going on with the economy, it has felt like everyone is walking on pins and needles wondering what our company is going to decide to do next. Many people have been laid off. More layoffs are in the rumor mill. I feel like it is hard to dream right now because of potential layoffs that could affect me. Do you have any steps I could take right now to best position myself? Also, any words of encouragement would be awesome too.
Okay, well, I will tell you this. Number one, as a word of encouragement, you will get through this, and you will survive, and you will thrive through this. And it's because you're investing in listening to things like this podcast at other great places to learn instead of just, binge watching Netflix, which is worthwhile. It's worthwhile at times, but this is a very good thing. So that's great. It's a really interesting question. And many of our listeners are in the exact same boat right now. I don't know if it's a jet boat, but they're in a boat. And I'm reminded of an episode of The Office, which I'm ashamed to say I have watched.
Yes.
It is hilarious and ridiculous and very uncomfortable. And I watch it, and the episode is appropriately named Money. I don't know which year it is, but it's where Michael Scott is informed by Jan that his branch is going to be shut down and that he is going to be losing his job. And what did he do? He went straight to the bathroom and threw up. That's what he did. And it proceeds to document so many of the emotions that people go through when all of a sudden their job's in jeopardy. And what I realize is that at that moment, he has allowed his employer to control his life. In fact, why was that the case? Because he had no savings, he had no margin, he had no other alternative way of producing income. He only had type 1 income that he was working for. And as a result, he's in immediate distress financially, which means his life is in distress, which means his whole world is upside down and it's like he's in quicksand. So when we receive questions here at the Monday Money Tip podcast, we always wonder what the entire story might be. We also ask ourselves the question, what are some good assumptions we can make based on the way a question is asked of us? You know, we don't always know the whole story behind this question. We know this person is employed right now. They're worried that they're going to get laid off. Some of their friends are already laid off. And so here's some assumptions we feel like we can make from this question. Number one, this person is below rung 5 of the ladder. The I was broke, now I'm not ladder. Rung number 5 is what?
Is build savings to a minimum of 3 months of expenses.
That's right. So if they had 3 months or more of expenses saved up, they're not going to be as panicked.
Right.
They're not as needy of encouragement because they've got margin. Over 70% of Americans are in that exact same position. And I also think a good assumption is that this person is unable to look forward to future dreams because they're being forced to focus on their immediate needs. That's a good way to say it. They're unable to look forward to future dreams. Instead, they have to look at immediate needs. Future dreams versus immediate needs. And future dreams, kind of fun to think about. Immediate needs, not so fun. This person has inadvertently allowed their employer to have a strong level of control over their financial well-being. They have no savings. And I think it would be reasonable to say they have minimal investments to access as well. They may have retirement, but they can't access this without major hardship or penalty. So it's time for story time. You ready for story time?
Yes.
Shall we play some music? Or are you going to sing some music in the background?
I'm not sure we're
Come
there
on, Megan.
yet.
Huh? Sing some song.
I'm not sure we're there with my comfortableness.
Do you sing? Do you sing to Logan while he goes to
I
sleep?
do.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't know. Not while he goes to sleep, but I do sing to him other times.
Do you sing a solo? Solo, he can't hear it? Or
No.
That's what I sing. My kids, all 3 of them universally have said, stop, when I sing. Even when they're babies. It's horrible. Because I thought I was killing it. But it's time for story time with Joe.
Maybe I'll add some background music in the post-production.
Yeah. You know, I used to lead manufacturing facilities. I used to make stuff. I used to make some stuff. I
You
made
have
some
some of that
rubber
stuff
parts
in your
for
drawer.
some automotive
Yeah.
companies. I got a bunch of them in my office still. And every summer, there was a slowdown because we supplied a lot. I feel like some music would be really good here during my story time. Because we supplied a lot of auto manufacturers. You can name them all. We supplied them. And who had they scheduled their shutdowns for model year changes, which usually happen around July 4th. And we would literally, because we had a slowdown, we didn't need all this employment. This was in place before I ever got there. That we didn't have to worry about laying people off. We would offer furloughs for the summer. We're not going to pay you. We'll just pay insurance. We're not going to pay you for 3 months. Who wants it? And they would fight over who got it. They would be so angry, irate that they would not get laid off for 3 months. Irate, I tell you. And I at the time, I couldn't imagine doing that. I was like, what in the world? How can they do that? Well, the reason they could do that is because they had margin. I did not. Many times they were the second income producer for their family, or they had another job that they could do. They could work the family farm. It was in Indiana where there's a lot of farms. Whatever it was, they had margin. So step number 1 is what?
To prioritize margin.
Yes. So if you want to stop having your employer having financial control of your life and thereby control of a lot of your life, you need to prioritize margin. I want you to think of savings as a wall that you can build between you and the crazy things that life sends your way. Like these are what? List some things.
Yep. So including layoffs, unexpected car repair or breakdown, home repair, illness, or disability. It's a big one.
Oh, and we've had all those things happen in our lives, haven't we? I mean, home repair. I mean, good grief. You know, Matt in our office had a little flooding in his house again when we had to, horrible, right? And you need a wall between you and that crazy. You need it. And the more margin you have, the bigger, the thicker, the taller the wall, the more protection you have from those events having an immediate, that's a key word, an immediate financial impact on you. And thus, having an immediate impact on your future plans, hopes, and dreams, those PhDs. So think of savings as building a road. The further you build the road, the more you can distance yourself from the craziness. So think about these three scenarios. Let's say that you're getting laid off without any savings, no margin. Scenario 2, you get laid off with 3 months of expenses in a savings account plus some retirement savings. Or scenario 3, you're laid off with 12 months expenses in a savings account plus 5 years income built up in your retirement accounts. Which would you opt for?
Scenario 3.
Scenario 3, please. Right? Is this a trick question? No, this is not a trick question. See, we would all want to be able to have margin, and you can have it. And how do you do that? Well, let's give you a tip. Step number 2
is lower living cost.
You got to lower your living cost. You see, every dollar you eliminate from your monthly expenses is about $1.30 you won't need to earn. You've always heard a dollar saved is a dollar earned. That's not true because that dollar saved has already been taxed. $1.30 taxed is about $1 take home. So think about that. If you have $9,000 in your savings account and your monthly expenses are $3,000, you've achieved rung number 5 of the I was broke, now I'm not ladder. And suppose you're able to lower your monthly cost by $500 a month. You got rid of a car payment. Well, you already had that gone, obviously. Maybe it was some subscriptions. You're able to have a renter rent a room out your house. Some way or another, you save $500 a month. You now, that same amount of money, $9,000, you never saved $1 more. It's now not worth 3 months worth of expenses. It's worth 3.6 months. And we've had lots of conversations here on the podcast on ways to eliminate expenses from your budget. Focus on eliminating the unnecessary ones and reduce the necessary ones. And remember, these reductions are not forever. They're just for now. And as you build margin and lower your living cost, you're going to be able to position yourself one step at a time away from your employer being able to have an immediate impact on your life financially. Like if I looked at you, Megan, and said, you're laid off, COVID-19, boom, you're laid off. Would that send you an immediate panic?
No, I'd be sad.
You're sad.
I
would
like
be very
what
sad.
I do here, but
I'm not saying that, but you have margin.
Yeah.
You and Jordan have margin. You've prioritized margin. If I told myself, Joe, you're laid off, which I want to do regularly.
We would all be sad because that means we would all be laid off.
No, but here's the deal. Because I have margin, that's not a panic. And I have type 2 income, as mentioned in the book Oxen. So remember, they're not forever. They're just for now. And as you build margin, you get to position yourself away from your employer having control of your life. And if you're a business owner, we could say it another way, you position yourself from your customer having control of your financial life. Makes sense.
That's good.
Okay. Step number 3.
All right. Step number 3 is consider your options.
Yes. So this person's talking about being laid off or whatever. You need to think about your options before the options come to you. So you may be offered to be furloughed instead of being laid off, kind of like they used to do when I was leading a manufacturing facility. So this allows your employer to actually lower their cost while still paying your insurance benefits, and it provides a path back to full employment more swiftly than those who've already been severed. It takes a lot more work to bring an employee on from scratch versus somebody who's already on the rolls. And you can do this more enthusiastically when you have margin and you've lowered your living cost. And what I found is many employees who have financial margin, they function way more effectively during a financial crisis, many because they have financial confidence. And one of the things that I think is important is if you feel like you're in this scenario of this person who says, I may get laid off, I don't know. Hey, if you've got margin, you may want to go suggest, hey, can I be furloughed? Hey, look, I'll take the next 4 months off. Don't pay me, just cover my insurance benefits.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, as an employer, if somebody came to me and said, I want that, I would listen intently.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd take them up on it, but I would I would definitely listen intently and say, this person's a bringer of solutions to me that make sense.
Yeah.
So it's something super important to think about.
All
And
right.
finally, we have
Yep.
step number 4.
Our final step number 4, is secure alternative income.
Yeah, so we've said we need to prioritize margin, lower our living cost, and then consider all of our options. And step number 4 is secure alternative income. Every dollar of income you produce without working for it, that type number 2 income, as I said from my book, Oxen, that's a dollar you will not require from your employer. This could be passive or semi-passive income streams, and they exist the world over. This could be rental income from apartment complex, renting out a room in your house. My brother-in-law came and lived with me. He rented out a room at our house for about 9 months. And you know what? That was income, dividend income, business income, lending to others and making interest on it. Those are just some to name a few. Just Google, alternative income, passive income, semi-passive income streams, or type 2 income in the book Oxen. But here's what I want you to know. I want everyone on my team, Megan included, to secure alternative streams of income because of one fundamental reason. That is this. We are all temporary employees. All of us. There will be a last day that Megan walks into this workplace. There will be a last day I walk into this workplace. Some employees are with us for 30 days. They're very temporary. Others for 30 months. Others for 30 years. But we're all temporary. And I want each and every member of our team to fund dreams along the way. And I want them all to have an excellent retirement, pursuing their callings, their dreams, their passions. And guess what? I want the same for all of our podcast listeners too. How about you?
Yep.
And so we really encourage you to think through this, because whether there was a pandemic or not, whether there was an impact on jobs or not, these 4 steps hold true every single day. If you can keep those living costs low and you offer solutions and alternatives to your employer and you secure alternative income streams, you will position yourself to where your employer does not have control of your finances and therefore your life.
Okay, our verse for today is Ecclesiastes 7:12, and it says, "Wisdom is a shelter as money is a shelter, but the advantage of knowledge is this: wisdom preserves those who have it."
I love this verse so much. I did not know this verse was in the Bible until about a year ago. And when I read it, it stopped me. I mean, I love it so much. Wisdom is a shelter as money is a shelter. Do you see it? So Solomon is saying money is a shelter. That's what we're talking about. That's what this whole thing is about. It's margin, it's protection, it's the wall. And wisdom is too. Wisdom is a shelter. And then he says, but I like one over the other. Which one is it? It's knowledge. It's that wisdom. Why? Because wisdom preserves those who have it. As we know, money in the hands of a fool, soon parted. But what we know is if you got wisdom going with this money, if you put the 2 together, it's a superpower and it will allow you to really prosper. It's awesome. And so tell everybody what we're going to talk about in episode number 103.
Crazy. Okay, so next time we're going to talk about secret financial robbers. So everyone despises a thief. Yes, I do. It's even worse when the robber takes money straight out of your wallet. Next Monday, we're going to talk about secret financial robbers that are stealing money away, money that could be put to good use with our abbreviation.
For GSI PTR, for some give, save, invest, plan the rest.
I was getting to it.
Okay.
Yes. And to help you speed up your climb up the I was broke, now I'm not ladder.
Yes.
GSIPTR.
Yeah, so it's GSI PTR.
I was trying to decide
Give,
if I
save,
wanted
invest,
to
plan the rest.
say it out or if I wanted to, or sometimes you do the GSI together, GSI and then the PTRs together because give, save, and rest, then plan the rest.
I wish it had a better enunciation. But the bottom line is there are certain things that are sneaking in and they're just pilfering money out of your wallet and you don't even know what's happening. We're going to talk about that next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to other people who could benefit. You can do this by quickly rating our podcast and leaving a review. If you're watching on YouTube, click the bell, click the thumbs up button, or thumbs down. Tell us why you hated it. We would love for you to be able to share this and get the word out. And if you click the bell, you'll be notified every single time a new episode is posted. In the meantime, we hope you have a great Monday. And as you go forward, hey, step forward in confidence. build margin, separate yourself from that employer, and if you're a business owner, from your customer, having control of your life so that you can focus on exactly what you're called to do. Hope you have a great Monday. Get fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.